Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. So today we have got the following contents to discuss. Okay, so let's start. The first content being the sex ratio at birth. So sex ratio at birth normalizes slightly. That says about the study. Okay, now if I say about the sex ratio at birth, so ये sex ratio at birth होता क्या है? See, the sex ratio at birth is the number of females per 1,000 males. क्या बोला मैंने? The sex ratio at birth is the number of females per 1,000 males. And we all know that this sex ratio at birth of registered events is an important indicator today to map the sex differences of the population at the beginning of their respective life. And we see that the sex ratio at birth today are been calculated deeply in a society like us, where there is a huge gap in the differences, or there is a huge gap in the number of genders or number of genders that is available, be it the males, be it the females. Okay, so females are very less as compared to the males. So therefore, we can see that in a Indian society, the demand or a respective cravings for a male son is a very important phenomena in a society like us. But in recently, today we have seen that slowly and slowly, such number of things are directly not happening, because today the sex ratio has directly increased. We know about that in a recent report about per 1,000 male, there is 1020 female. So abhi sex ratio बढ़ा गया है. तो अभी मैं if I say about something about the sex ratio, we can see that the sex ratio, okay, is directly an important record or directly an important data through which we can directly recognize the importance of a female in the respective society. Okay, and the very number of sex ratio differences that we have today, और जिसके लिए आज increase हुआ है, this is because of greater literacy, greater educational system, and greater facilities directly given by the respective government. Okay, today if I see about this sex ratio or the sex ratio at birth, we can see that Ladakh recorded the highest sex ratio at birth in the country in 2020, which was followed by Arunachal Pradesh, Andaman Nicobar, Tripura, as well as Kerala. Okay, so therefore we can see that in the respective area of Ladakh, which is today a union territory, we can see that highest sex ratio at birth was registered in this respective country, which was around 1,104, which was followed by Arunachal Pradesh in a very short term of 1011. Okay, Andaman Nicobar around 984, Tripura around 974, as well as Kerala around 960. तो ये था, ये रिपोर्ट किसने रिलीज किया था? द रजिस्ट्रार जनरल ऑफ इंडिया. तो अभी मैं बोलूं अगर सर व्हाट इज रजिस्टर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया, तो रजिस्टर जनरल ऑफ इंडिया वाज फाउंडेड इन 1961 बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स. ये क्या करते हैं? इट अरेंजेस, इट कंडक्ट्स, इट एनालाइजेस द रिजल्ट्स ऑफ द डेमोग्राफिक सर्वेस ऑफ इंडिया, इंक्लूडिंग इवन द सेंसस ऑफ इंडिया एंड इवन द लिंग्विस्टिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया. लिंग्विस्टिक सर्वे क्या होता है? भाषा, कौन से जगह में कितने भाषा बोलने वाले लोग हैं. So all these things we are determining by this registrar general. Okay, so therefore this registrar general is directly using some number of civil registration system, and it is directly a unified process through which every form of data could be directly been calculated. Okay, so therefore you can see that this registrar general of India is a very important post. He is obviously the position of the registrar general is usually held by a civil servant holding the rank of joint secretary. Joint secretary के एक level के ये post होता है, ठीक है? That is the registrar general. So therefore we can see that the registrar general directly released such number of statements saying about the sex ratio at birth in these respective areas. तो अभी हम लोग ने देखा कि हाईएस्ट सेक्स रेशियो एट बर्थ कहां हुआ है. तो अगर मैं लोएस्ट सेक्स रेशियो वाला बात बोलूं तो लोएस्ट में है मणिपुर, followed by Dadra and Nagar Haveli as well as Daman and Diu, because this both directly became same. तो मणिपुर 880 है वहां पे. Okay, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu is around 898. Okay, फिर गुजरात is around 909, हरियाणा is around 916 and मध्य प्रदेश is around 921. तो ये है, ठीक है. So therefore we can see that though we can see such number of numbers in such number of states as well as UTs, but we can directly analyze that none of the states or UTs have recorded a sex ratio at birth below 880. Okay, so therefore it is good that today the number of females per 1,000 males is directly increasing in our country, which leads to the increasement of even what? The sex ratio in total. Okay, so therefore this was a respective study that directly came upon in the recent times to directly discuss about the importance about the growing number of girls or ladies or females directly in our country. ओके तो ये था अबाउट सेक्स रेशियो एट बर्थ. ठीक है, दूसरे पे आते हैं CSR. ओके, कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. ये क्या होता है कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी? सी, CSR actually is an initiative to access and take responsibility for companies' effect on the environment and impact on social welfare. Okay, क्या बोला मैंने? CSR is directly an initiative to access and take responsibility. कौन responsibility लेगा? एक प्राइवेट कंपनी. For what? For the company's effect on the environment. Supposedly, अगर एक सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री कहीं पे बना गया है, तो सीमेंट इंडस्ट्री because of the release of the harmful pollutants, the respective areas environment may directly gets polluted. So it's their respective duty to have a welfare towards even the environment. So therefore, it is the responsibility for the company's effect on the environment and also impacting on social welfare. तो मान लो इन सब एरियाज के बीचों बीच or in the very vicinity of such number of areas where the cement industry is directly going, many number of small directly firms or small number of businesses establishment directly gets set up. So therefore, for their respective welfare, even it's the duty of whom? The respective cement industry or the industry that has been set up under the corporate social responsibility. तो ये जो concept of CSR है, it is governed by what? It is governed by the section 135 or even you can say it as clause 135. Clause 135 of what? Companies Act of 2013. Okay, so which directly makes CSR compliance mandatory for companies registered under these sections. So this CSR, okay, that is the corporate social responsibilities, is applicable to companies with an annual turnover of around 1,000 crore, okay, or more, or a net worth of around 500 crore or more, or who has at least got a profit of around rupees 5 crore. तो ये तीन वैल्यूज जो है ना, ये याद रखो. क्या बोला मैंने? The CSR provisions within the act is applicable. Act मतलब कौन सा? Companies Act of 2013. तो यहाँ पे एनुअल टर्नओवर कितना होना चाहिए? 1,000 करोड़ और मोर. नेट वर्थ कितना होना चाहिए? 500 करोड़. एंड नेट प्रॉफिट कितना होना चाहिए? 5 करोड़. Okay, so therefore the act encourages the companies to spend at least कितना? 2% of the average net profit in the previous 3 years of the CSR initiatives. तो अगर 5 करोड़ वो लोग का प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, तो 2% they are directly going in for what? From the average net profit, they are spending 2% for the respective CSR activities. Okay, so today if I see about in what activities can be undertaken directly by a company under this responsibility, supposedly I can say that the eradicating of extreme hunger and poverty, it can be done. It is based upon the social welfare. Promotion of education, gender equality, empowering women, it is also a social welfare issue. Combating HIV, AIDS and other diseases such as the deadly cancers. Okay, also going it for environmental sustainability. Okay, supposedly emitting less and less number of products directly to the atmosphere, which is directly warming up the respective atmosphere, be it the lesser number of produce of the carbon monoxide or any type of greenhouse gases. तो ये होता है. So therefore today we have got a lot many number of significance associated with this CSR. Okay, so CSR is a very important necessity today, because today still our country is faced with, supposedly if I say about the country of India today, with nearly 2/3 of India still living in poverty, and still they have the quality of life standards are very much of worsening day by day. The environment is directly changing its respective manners directly day by day. In these circumstances, the CSR cannot be overestimated. So companies should take compliance to CSR more seriously and very much in a responsible way. Okay, so if this number of things can directly be in practice, then today we could see that the role of companies would directly help us to directly even achieve the net goal of India to become a carbon neutral by the end of 2070. Also, we can see that there are various number of areas where this CSR can be applicable, be it in the R&D, that is the research and development in technological innovations. ठीक है, हायर एजुकेशन में CSR सपोर्ट कर सकता है। हायर एजुकेशन मतलब क्या होता है? टर्शियरी एजुकेशन। आई एम नॉट टेलिंग अबाउट द प्राइमरी एज वेल एज द सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन. Okay, also we can directly go for various number of environmental friendly projects where India is very much committed to. India सोच रहा है 175 gigawatt बनाएंगे, 100 gigawatt directly from the solar energy. Okay, फिर directly carbon neutral, going in for hybrid model vehicles, focusing more towards solar energy. So therefore creating a sustainable constructing materials that are affordable, recyclable, okay, which have directly good power management system, which can directly address various number of socio-technical issues. So in all these ways, we can directly help, or the respective companies could directly help the government to directly make this country a valuable country or a valuable asset in the near future for this respective world. Okay, so therefore CSR is an important function for today for every respective companies who have got such number of datas or such number of datas attached, that is 1500 as well as 5. Okay, so this is the respective data that you need to remember when you are directly dealing with a company who is very much mandated by the Companies Act to directly perform its respective CSR. Okay, चलो next पे आते हैं. यूरोप्स ग्रेट डॉग. ओके, पछता रहा है बेचारे लोग. ठीक है, एक टाइम में हम लोग को यहाँ पे सूखा मार दिया था. ठीक है, अभी पछता रहा है बेचारे. ठीक है, चलो ठीक है, बेचारे लोग को थोड़ा डिस्कस कर ही लेते कि वहां पे क्या हो रहा है. ठीक है, तो देखो, in this respective country, that is in the European nations, okay, it is being said that never has a European summer been so dry since 1540. 1540 से till today, that is 2022, इतना ड्राई कभी नहीं हुआ है. Okay, when a year-long drought killed tens of thousands of people in Europe, and the dry spell of this year follows a record of even breaking heat wave. The short temperature in many countries that drastically went on for a respective historic highs of their respective temperatures. Okay, so therefore we can see that much recently even senior scientists of the European Commission's Joint Research Center, okay, he even said at that point of time that slowly and slowly this may directly turn worst. Okay, and thereby you can see that there are various regions associated with this Europe worst drought. Because today we can see that the natural climate system are very much of uncommon in Europe today. Okay, the extraordinary dry spell has been a result of the prolonged and a significant deviation from the normal weather patterns that Europe has got. Also, in addition to this, high temperatures have led to increased evaporation of what? Surface water and soil moisture. तो इसी के चलते क्या हो रहा है? It is directly, that is, Europe is directly facing a good number of drought as well as heat waves in this respective area. That is where? In this area of Europe. Okay, because Europe today is directly facing a torrid summer. We know that this area with heat wave conditions expected to continue in August this year, we can see there is already various number of devastations due to this extreme weather conditions. And this region is today is hit by what? The raging wildfires. Okay, then we can see hundreds of heat-related deaths. Okay, also directly making an alarm of looming climate emergency. Okay, so in every areas today you can see, even if I say about France, Spain, they are going temperatures recording 42 degrees Celsius, 46 degrees Celsius. Okay, so even you can see that some of the neighboring or some of the important states of Europe, such as Spain, they even lost 14,000 hectares of land to fires with an estimated of 360 death. And mostly these are elderly people who cannot directly resist some of the changes of the climate. So therefore we can see that scientists do have told that the climate change is directly caused by human activity, which has directly affected these respective areas. Okay, but we can see that slowly and slowly the main effect जो लोग पहले स्टार्ट किए थे, आज इन लोग का क्लाइमेट का ये हाल क्यों हुआ गया है? Just because we can see that they have directly started the drought. Okay, they have directly started the industrial revolution, and because of such number of industrial revolution which directly vanquished every other raw materials that they can directly find inside the earth, उसको abundantly उन्होंने use किया. And therefore we can see that all the affected nations today have directly is going with some number of heat alerts. Okay, and the citizens who are at least not used to such number of temperatures are directly dying just because of this drought that is directly happening today. So all the rivers are directly drying up. जैसे राइन रिवर हो, पो, लोरे, डेन्यूब रिवर, दिस इज द मेन इंपॉर्टेंट रिवर ऑफ द यूरोप. So ये क्या हो रहा है? Directly is drying up. Okay, so 64% of the continent's landmass is experiencing drop. 90% area in Switzerland and France, 83 in Germany and China and US are two other drought conditions current. So in every areas where the industrial revolution is too higher, mercilessly उन्होंने natural resources का use किया, they are directly facing it from the respective nature. तो nature will reply you back, क्योंकि न्यूटन ने भी बोल के गया था थर्ड लॉ कि every particular activity has got an equal and opposite activity reaction. ओके ये मैंने अपना भाषा में बोल लिया. तो क्या भाषा? इट्स लाइक समथिंग यूएस, लंदन या यूरोप या ऑल द कंट्रीज हु आर डायरेक्टली गोइंग विद मास नंबर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल प्रोडक्शन, उन्होंने एक एक्टिविटी कर दिया यूजिंग द नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज, प्लंडरिंग द नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज. तो अभी नेचर उसको रिप्लाई कर रहा है थ्रू व्हाट? थ्रू दिस नंबर ऑफ एक्टिविटीज, बी ड्रॉट, द ड्राइंग ऑफ द रिवर्स, ये सब कर रहे हैं नेचर. ओके, सो दिस थिंग्स directly is the output of what? The more number of human activity that is getting performed, which is mercilessly getting performed in some number of time period. Okay, so that is about the Europe's great drought. Coming to the next one, VLSRSAM. Okay, so when I say about VLSRSAM, तो ये क्या है? Vertical launch short range surface to air missile. तो ये क्यों यूज में है? It's something because it was recently successfully test fire. Okay, so it's an indigenous missile. Okay, directly developed by the DRDO. Okay, and it is a very important element of the Indian Navy because it is directly fired out from the Indian Navy and then integrated test range that is in Chandipur. Okay, on the coast of Orissa. Okay, so this, if I say about this missile, that is the vertical launch short range surface to air missile. So we all know surface to air means what? ये धरती से जाएगा ऊपर तक. Okay, so therefore this has been designed, okay, by the three facilities of the DRDO. Okay, and we know that this is directly for the deployment in the naval warships. तो इसका capability क्या है? इसका capability है, it directly neutralizes various air threats at close range, including even sea skimming targets. और ये sea skimming क्या होता है? Sea skimming is a technique many anti-ships missiles and some fighters or even the aircraft strikes used to avoid radar and infrared detections. Okay, so therefore we can see that this particular missile has been designed to strike high-speed airborne targets at the range of even 40 to 50 kilometers and an altitude of around 15 kilometers. तो उनका रेंज क्या है इसका? 40 to 50 kilometers. और इनका altitude क्या है? कितना दूर जाएंगे ये? 15 kilometers. Okay, so its design is directly based on what? Astra missile, ASTRA. Astra means what? Weapon. ये क्या था? It was India's first air-to-air, all-weather, beyond visual range, active radar homing missile, which was even developed by whom? DRDO. Astra क्या है? It is directly India's first air-to-air, all-weather, beyond visual range missile. ओके, सो अभी पूछो कि सर बियॉन्ड विजुअल रेंज क्या है? तो वो भी बता देता हूं. बियॉन्ड विजुअल रेंज इज एन एयर टू एयर मिसाइल दैट इज कैपेबल ऑफ एंगेजिंग एट रेंजेस ऑफ 20 नॉटिकल माइल्स और बियॉन्ड. मैंने क्या बोला था? 1 नॉटिकल माइल इज इक्वल्स टू 1.86 किलोमीटर. तो तुम जान सकते हो कि 20 नॉटिकल माइल्स कितना होगा? 20 into 1.86. Therefore we can see a beyond visual range missile is an what? Air to air missile that is capable of engaging at ranges of 20 nautical miles or beyond. Okay, so it was directly categorized under this Astra missile. Okay, so therefore we can see that they have also got various number of features. इसका जो ये जो missile है, it's something like a cruciform shape. Okay, जो ये plus type का sign होता है, it's something like a cruciform shape. और यहाँ पे cruciform wings है. They are some of the 4 small wings arranged like a cross on 4 sides, which directly gives the projectile a stable aerodynamic posture. Because of some number of aerodynamic conditions, we are directly making use of the wings in a cruciform pattern. Okay, so therefore you can see that it is very much important for the naval welfares, because if you are directly in a combat situation, so this missiles could directly eliminate some number of threats directly coming in from the air. Okay, so therefore this particular missile is in news, so therefore it becomes very much of relevant to discuss over here. चलो next पे आते हैं. Overseas borrowing a double-edged sword. Okay, so if I say about the overseas borrowings, तो ये क्या है? It is something related to the external sector. Okay, external sector. तो external sector में क्या होता है? It's something supposedly the foreign currency loans today can actually prove to be very much of expensive for a country like India. Foreign currency. Okay, but we know that companies needs to boost their capital. Okay, companies needs to boost their capital. तो companies boost कैसे करेंगे? It can infuse excess earning into the company through retained earning. Okay, second क्या है? Dilute the stake of existing stakeholders of the company, and lastly borrowing money from the banks directly. Okay, ये banks कौन है? Even you can say about this NBFCs. Okay, even this direct banks can directly issue some number of bonds or debentures. Okay, so therefore you can see that there are various number of uses of borrowing such number of currency directly coming in from outside, because though we have an interest rate disparity between the domestic and foreign markets, okay, it becomes cheaper to service such number of loans in the coming times. Okay, also we can see though we have got a various other factors, there are various number of challenges associated with them. Okay, because the threat of lower earnings from a shrinking economy is a very effective element of the respective economy. Okay, today even you can see, if I say about the non-convertible debentures. Debentures क्या होता है? It's a long-term financial instruments that are used by companies to borrow money. Okay, लेकिन जो long-term debentures है, they are not secured because of no backing in some of the unsecured debentures. Okay, so therefore, though we are directly focused much more towards borrowing a double H, or directly borrowing or going in for some of the overseas borrowing, but we have to take care about the insufficient number of ways through which such borrowings may directly prove costly to the economy of our country. Okay, so therefore we have to be very much careful in associated with such number of loans which directly takes the form of some number of debentures, which may prove in the recent or in the very future times, it may directly prove to be a risky element. Okay, so therefore we can see that this is an important phenomena which directly says about that overseas borrowing is directly making the country or is directly depreciating the country's currency at its max. Okay, so this was the issue about the overseas borrowing. Okay, lastly आता है implication of 5G rollout for law enforcement. ये क्या है? ये क्यों न्यूज में है? Because we can see that recently even Prime Minister Narendra Modi also announced the deployment of 5G in India, which will come in sooner. Okay, so even it was directly decided to go in September 2022 on. Okay, अभी सितंबर आने वाला है, तो 2022 तक सितंबर तक 5G ये आ जाएगा. So this was directly a long awaited upgrade from directly 4G to the 5G. Okay, because यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा? It will allow some of the ultra fast internet speeds. Okay, so today if I see about 5G, so in telecommunications 5G is what? It is the 5th generation technology standard. Okay, for broadband cellular networks. Okay, even like we can see about it is directly acting to be a successor to the 4G networks, which provide connectivity to most of the current cell phones in our country. Okay, so ये जो internet speeds है in the high band spectrum of 5G, today it has been tested in India is around 20 Gbps. Okay, 20 Gbps, that is the gigabits per second. Okay, because हम लोग ने जब like in this respective 4G में हम लोग को कितना मिलता था? Highest 1 Gbps. Okay, Gbps 1 Gbps. तो अभी 5G में हम लोग क्या एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं? It is around 20 Gbps. Okay, but here also we can see that on one hand 5G rollout is set to enhance the efficiency, productivity and security by helping the police access critical information in some of the real time and even to nab criminals. Okay, also we can see that 5G has higher bandwidth and has also lower latency. So therefore the adoption would also ensure the best performance of the police devices such as even the body cams, okay, facial recognition technology, CCTVs. तो ये सब थोड़ा usefulness होंगे to directly ensure some of the security. Even you can see that the increased storage capacity promised by the 5G will even allow the police to streamline their investigation in a very rapid manner. Also, it will go for a secure communication with the organization as well as between civilians and emergency responders. Okay, also with the implications of the 5G, police can even directly go for remotely accessing and analyzing some type of crime data information from other infrastructure such as traffic lights. Okay, so in all these respective areas we can see that the facial recognition mechanisms, okay, all such number of CCTV cameras, these are a very important phenomenon today because of the increasing number of population as well as the increasing number of crimes that we directly face in our respective society. But though we can see that the rollout of 5G is very much of mandate, but we can see there are various number of challenges. Okay, supposedly you can see about the government and the telecommunication companies will must have to ensure that the law enforcement agencies will take necessary infrastructures to take full advantage of the 5G. Okay, also if the law enforcement agencies get access to secure data from telecom operators, they will still need tools to access this data. So ये भी एक lacuna है. Also we can see that the most police station systems are today are very much of outdated. तो अगर आउटडेटेड होंगे तो क्या होगा, इट इज नॉट कंपेटेबल विद द 5G. तो अगर मैं आज अगर 3G और 4G वाला एक फोन जो है वो अगर मैं 5G यूज करना चाहूँ तो हो सकेगा क्या, नहीं हो सकेगा. तो हम लोग का मोस्ट अपडेटेड सिस्टम नहीं है पुलिसों के पास, तो इसीलिए आउटडेटेड है. सो देयरफॉर दे रिक्वायर्स फंड्स टू डू दिस. तो वी हैव सच नंबर ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स एसोसिएटेड. उसके बाद 5G साइबर सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स को भी ये करते हैं, because deploying 5G when we have a shaky cyber security foundation, it's like erecting a structure on some of the soft hand. Okay, soft sand में अगर एक लूज मिट्टी में हम लोग अगर घर स्ट्रक्चर बना देते हैं ना, obviously it will fall someday. तो हम लोग के पास एक साइबर सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न के लिए एक स्ट्रॉन्ग फाउंडेशन नहीं है. ठीक है. Also, this 5G lacks end-to-end encryptions, and thereby it directly makes very much prone to the hackers attack. Okay. Also, the bandwidth expansion due to 5G will enable criminals to even embezzle databases easily. And with time, as 5G connects with the additional devices, the frequency of the attacks could also increase. Okay. So, ये end-to-end encryption क्या होता है? It is a method of secure communication that prevents third parties from accessing the data while it is transferred from one end to the other. Okay. तो इसीलिए there are more number of cyber attacks, be it the hacking website, malicious codes, okay, advanced worms and trojans, okay, about phishing, whizzing, DDoS, denial of service attack, cyber espionage, cyber warfare. तो ये सब होता है. Okay, so therefore we can see that today authorities will have to adopt measures to hinder crimes facilitated by these 5G technologies. Police needs to be trained so that they recognize new 5G enabled crimes. Also, training programs must be focused on such crimes. Okay, the government and the telecom companies could also think of setting up some of the 5G crime monitoring task force by creating various number of regulations, even to prevent criminals from using some number of counterfeit equipments. So therefore, law enforcement agencies will have to evolve with various number of strategies to identify the victims of even the 5G facilitated crimes, locate them, and take actions against the perpetrators of such crimes. So if such number of things is done, the 5G rollout will be a game changer for even the law enforcement agencies. It will enable the police fight crime effectively. At the same time, the criminal use of 5G is inevitable. And in this context, the recent recommendations made by the TARAI, that is the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, to the government to develop a national roadmap for India to implement 5G in the best possible way that should encompass the law enforcement requirements in our country. Okay, so therefore, the law enforcement or the 5G to be implemented in our country, the implications towards the law and order is a very important and a crucial factor to make identify by the respective government so that it can be used for a better as well as fulfiller purpose. Okay, so this was the analysis of the editorial today. Okay, so these are the 5 questions you can attempt. The answers you will get in your Telegram channel. Okay, once mains question, you can directly attempt and send it to us. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you all. Jai Hind.